Blessings and abundance to everybody under the sound of my voice. It's your man's the King Advisor here. I'm here advising kings, baby boy. Today we're going to talk about trailblazing and how I believe trailblazing is one of the most important things a man should know and understand. Trailblazing is a person who is on the forefront of society, who creates a path that has not been walked, a path that has not been heard of and seen. And he creates it because that's the path he's going. So there's different lanes that people pave in life. And, you have people who come and follow after and try to expand this path or try to change this path, slide the slightest bits. But then you have trailblazers who don't go the path that's been walked at all, or the path that's been walked the least. And then they create these new avenues in these paths. A trailblazer is someone who creates new avenues. He's a leader. He or she is a leader. He or she is an inventor. He or she has the ability to influence. And I believe that men as a whole should have this ability. I believe that right now what we see in the patriarch, which is the masculine force when it comes to society, we see that, men are the face of trailblazing. Men are the face of life, creating and dominating. This is for a reason. I believe that this is not an evil thing. It's not a bad thing that's happening here when we see that men are perceived as leaders and forefront. What's happening here is the product of God's design. God designed us in different ways. Men and women are different, yet we both express the fullness of God. We both express the creator yet the father-like yet motherly love that the creator gives. And we can both experience that in our love for one another. And so that's why I want to also take this time right now to just exalt and uplift and adore my counterparts, the women that's in my life, not only the women in my life, but women in general, because without women, society could not have gone forth. Obviously, we couldn't have birthed great leaders. And, without a woman, without the love and touch and tenderness of a woman, too much masculinity is not a good thing. You see that, we see that in the statistics of how longer women live than men. And we see that in, just women and men's decisions in general. So I would say that there's no better sex, but I do admire the funner sex. I adore the funner sex. God took his time on the funner sex, and there is a gift that comes with their presence. There is a benefit, of course, that comes with their presence always. Not even just on a physical level, man. Not even just on a physical level. Not even just, on that level, but on a deeper spiritual level. What women bring when they're walking in their divine femininity correctly and appropriately and efficiently. They bring such a level of grace into your life, such a level of extended power. But on the other hand, if this woman is in fact not walking in her femininity, her divine femininity, and walking in the toxic version of this, toxic femininity, if you will, then this woman's steps leads to hell. This woman's steps leads to darkness. And there's nothing that's good that comes from her. Oh, only that of the surface, only that of what you see, only that of what you smell, only that of what you perceive on a, surface level. Underneath all of that is conniving, devilish ways. And we've experienced both sides, I believe. Most men have experienced both sides. So what I'm saying is, I wanted to give that little piece of exaltation to these women, because they're worthy of it, and they need it. They need it, and it's due to them. So, but a trailblazer, speaking precisely to men, is a trait that I believe we all should have. When it comes to trailblazing, This is I feel like our mantle that comes with manhood. This is our purpose inside of what a man should be. This is that in effect. When you're trailblazing, you are in your purpose full effect, because you are making new paths that should lead to benefit your kingdom, and not only your kingdom, but society and humanity in general. Everything you do, you need to gauge and filter it through. Is this something that's going to help progress, benefit society? Because I believe that yes, we are creatures that are, self-preserving. We are self-seeking, but at the same time, we are here for each other. We are here for thy brother. We are here for thy neighbor. I believe that's the most healthiest, purest way to live. I believe that's how the Creator has designed us to live. And so, trailblazing is something that, is inside of all of us. Just like the apple is inside of the apple seed. You have to plant the seed, and the apples will spur out. It's the same thing with trailblazing. It's the same thing with your purpose and your passion. It's inside of you. And once you have went through a certain season of grounding, went through a certain season where you were buried, then you will understand, and then this thing will manifest itself. A passion that will come out of you. There's a passion that's in me right now that God has placed inside of me that I only have access through, my due diligence of obeying, going through this journey. It's, some leaders are born leaders, and some leaders were birthed later on in life, and and this passion is coming out of me later on. Some people was born with it, but it's coming out of me later on, about manhood and how to be walking officially in manhood, and even admonishing other brothers about their purpose. You feel me? So trailblazing is it's in you, and what you need to do to get it out of you is continue your journey, continue figuring out your purpose, figuring out your stand on life, your frame. Figure out your frame, okay? Because you can't go into building, you can't go into any activity without having a frame, without having a solid frame. You can't even go into social interactions without having a solid frame, okay? And if most men know what I'm speaking on. When you have a frame, you have an idea, thought pattern, or just a way about yourself, that's considered your frame. And it's important that you keep your frame in speaking, and like I say, really any event. You have to keep your frame in order to dig into the material of life, if you get what I'm saying. I'm speaking on a spiritual level, but follow me. In order to have a conversation that has influence in it, in order to, get that raise that you're looking for, where you got to go talk to your boss, in order to, run this marathon, where you're going to, access another achievement, in order to, get through school correctly and progress on that level of academia. You have to have a frame, a solid, singular way of thinking. You have to have a goal, and that frame is what's going to keep you steadfast and solid in obtaining that goal. You know what I mean? So before you can trailblaze, you have to have that frame, right? It's kind of like a shovel. It's coming to my mind as a shovel. The shovel is a solid tool. Tools are solid things that have frames and designs about themselves, so that when you go to use it, the shovel's just not going to go turn to pudding. You feel me? The shovel is just not going to turn to just, plastic and break. No, the shovel has a hard frame. So when you use it, it's going to be efficient to what you're using it for. And that's how you should be in relation to God, to God's will, that you will have a solid frame. So when he puts his hand on you to use you, you will be efficient for his agenda. You will be efficient for his project. So you have to have a solid frame in trailblazing. Again, I want to highlight this trailblazing thing. This trailblazing thing is, you are a person who is not afraid to make a new way and go your separate path, because a trailblazer is not somebody who is easily influenced by society. A trailblazer is not somebody who's easily influenced by his surroundings. You know, a trailblazer has to have, I repeat, he literally has to have a level of discipline and individuality that will separate him from the group. God may even give you something so individual about yourself that this is a fact. This is like solid. Like he may give you something about yourself that will separate you. And it's not always like what we perceive as a good thing, or, you know, the thing that he'll give you may be perceived as a flaw. You know what I mean? In some cases, I remember the Apostle Paul. Apostle Paul was talking about how he has a thorn in his flesh. And I don't think he was very elaborate on what it was, but he let us know that there was something that was placed within his realm that acted as a thorn that kept him humble. And so I believe that is what God will do sometimes, is to give us things that if we, you know, with a mature mindset and mature spirit, will look at it properly and say, hey, this is not a flaw. This is something that I've been blessed with, that will keep me humble, keep me grounded, and keep me hungry, keep me fighting, and keep me in my solid frame. Because without it, maybe I would be, you know, somewhere else, being ineffective. You feel me? That's like me with a beard. I said God knew what he was doing when he didn't give me no beard. And I say that because, and I say that kind of, man, I still want a beard. I want a beard, but I don't want to be beardless. But it's like, you know, hey man, if I would have had a beard a couple years ago, man, they would have been one of those, man, because I would have been out here. But anyway, so yes, sometimes these things that will separate us, you know, are placed there by the Most High, which is a cool thing to understand. So, you know, trailblazer. I've been prophesied this into my life. I remember it very clearly. Somebody that I was somebody that is near and dear to me, my mentor, my pastor, my friend, he prophesied into my life that I'm a trailblazer. And I've been, you know, people have told me that a lot. And, you know, I honor that. You know, I'm a free thinker. Trailblazers are free thinkers. And they do things. This is important right here. Trailblazers do things that save the vulnerability, or let me just say it clearly. Trailblazers do things that save their free thinking. They'll do things that they will make sure in their own realm, and also sometimes make sure that others understand that their free thinking is protected. They have to be convinced in their own realm, in their own consciousness, that their free thinking is safe. And so what we'll do is sometimes we'll express that sometimes we'll express that. Like, I believe Kanye West is a free thinker. I believe Kanye West is a free thinker who has to convince himself that his free thinking is protected. And sometimes in convincing himself, he has to convince other people that his free thinking is still there, it's still protected, and it's still functioning. Because free thinking for the creative is their heart, it's their functioning system. They have to have it to live and to breathe. I'm one of those people. I have to have my free thinking. And sometimes while I'm growing in immaturity and maturing, sometimes I express my free thinking in times where it's not beneficial to my free thinking to express. So, you know, you got to be grounded in discipline in this, but you do have to convince yourself, yes, as a creative, that your free thinking and your creativity is still there. So that, you know, trailblazers have that about themselves. A trailblazer is a person of mastery. A good book that I would recommend to you is Mastery by Robert Greene. If you're mature enough to read, if you're in a place to read his books, because what you're going to do is you're going to start reading his other books. like the art of seduction and the 48 laws of power. You know, you got mastery. You got the laws of human nature. You know, Robert Greene. Shout out to Robert Greene, great author. But you have to be mature to read his books, because if not, you're going to think what he's saying is evil. You're going to think what he's saying is, deceptive. You're going to think what he's saying is inhumane. But when you're at a level of understanding, like him, then you understand, and like me, you understand that these things are found in human nature, and these things are to be made aware of, and these things are to be managed as far as manipulation in conversation and seduction, and the art of when you peep a law of human nature, these things are to be kept managed by humane people. You can't be evil, because you will lose the whole essence of what is being said if you're using these things in a malicious way. So I believe that he understands that. And you have to understand that we're reading his books. But anyway, excuse me, I'm going on a rant here. I can keep going. Mastery. Mastery is something that a trailblazer needs. Mastery is the art of completely conquering the field you're in. Completely the art of and the process of conquering, understanding, and being the most competent you can in said field, in whatever field, X field, whatever field you are looking forward towards, whatever field you've been blessed with to have a initial understanding on automatically. Then these are fields that you can go into and master. So a trailblazer is a master. He's always seeking to master his craft, seeking to continue to sharpen his tool, and so look, okay. But in closing, because I'm gonna get deeper on mastery, but I do want to share this excellent nugget that I found in mastery within my own realm of me mastering things in my life. So, what a master seeks to do is to make his natural stand a powerful one. A master seeks to make his low stance a high one. A master seeks to make his jogging stand, his jogging, like so. For instance, you being in the most comfortable place you are, a master seeks to make that place his most powerful place of being. And that shows up in activities, sports. So while I'm out there being comfortable working at my lowest performance, my lowest performance should be a very high performance. You know what I mean? A master seeks to make his lowest performance the highest performance that could be. And so a way you can do that, this is what I want you to take away. A way you can do that, even when you're in the gym, exhaust yourself. Exhaust yourself to the lowest level. From there, create new neurological pathways in your mind that says, even if I'm at my lowest place, these neurological pathways that I'm creating right now in going hard are now being solidified in my mind that I can still do this in my lowest place. So therefore, now you have an extra boost of energy when you're at your lowest place. And now your brain triggers that, almost like survival mode or fitness mode when you're chilling, and you can be at your lowest place, but you can be going crazy. So blessings and abundance to everybody under the sound of my voice. That was a nugget for y'all.